Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, I survived my longest run to date last night. Admittedly, my legs felt like they were about to explode, and I was on the verge of vomiting for most of it. But that's another step in both distance and speed, which is good news. Bauma really should be a walk in the park after all of this. I wish. Before we get to it, I'd like to quickly explain the thinking behind this morning's question of the day. Later in the show, you're going to see the sexy makeover that Dynapack has given to its paver range. Now, we all know what JCB did with the wheeled excavator when it unveiled the JCB Hydro Dig. But I'd like to know what type or brand of machine do you believe is long overdue a makeover? And you can add your thoughts in the chat as always. And just so you know, if you are one of the many that has been following the ongoing Didcot investigation that's been running for almost 7 years now, keep an eye on the BBC website early next week. I've been working with one of their reporters for the past 3 weeks, actually, on an article that's designed to highlight the intransigence of the Thames Valley Police and the Health and Safety Executive. The article is expected to go live either this weekend or early next week. I have asked the reporter in question to send me a link when it drops so I can bring it to you just as soon as it does. But keep an eye out for that because it is an important one. Now, without further ado, let me roll the intro, post that question of the day that I've already mentioned, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It is Thursday, the 13th of October, and as that remarkably persistent guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, Rhodar wins big in Leeds. Pavers are given a sexy new makeover. Another US car plant is set to fall, and this time it's in Florida. We're on the road to Belmar with the mighty Bobcat, and Volvo uses electricity to deliver electricity. We'll get to all of that in just a second, but first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to Jane Grey, who was Queen for just 9 days, and to former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who fancied herself as Queen for rather longer than that. Happy birthday also to rock singer Sammy Hagar, skater Nancy Kerrigan. I think she was the one that was effectively kneecapped by one of her rivals, and to the man behind the characters, including Ali G and Borat comedian Sacha Baron Cohen, to former West Ham star Scott Parker, and the Aussie swimmer known as the Torpedo, Ian Thorpe. But far more importantly this morning, our very happy birthday to a man, an often unsung hero of the music industry, a man who wrote Bridge Over Troubled Water, The Sound of Silence, You Can Call Me Out, and my personal favourite, America. To the little half of Simon and Garfunkel, Mr. Paul Simon. Many happy returns to them, one and all. There are those that believe that I have it in for the demolition industry, that I just sit on the sidelines and criticise, just holding up a mirror to all the sector's flaws and imperfections. I do that, but I also like to celebrate the industry's successes as much as the next guy. So it's hats off to the fine folks at Rhodar, which has won a massive project up in Leeds.
So this is the Kirkstall Road site that's adjacent to the River Aire. It's a new build residential and commercial project. We're currently on site undertaking some enabling works and groundworks for the installation of some temporary accommodation pods, with the view to then continue with the main enabling works package on the wider site. The site is 45,000 square metres in area, with about 8,000 square metres already with structures on it. These are buildings comprising warehouse units, office units, some large basement areas. In addition, we've got a existing steel bridge which crosses the River Aire onto a very small portion of the site on the other side of the river. The remainder of the site is currently undeveloped land. The site has a rich legacy of both industrial and commercial land uses. The area behind me was formerly a chemical works and a bus depot, whilst the existing buildings on site have most recently been used as film studios, although they do have a number of historic industrial uses. As a result, there's quite a large legacy of asbestos still present within the buildings, which will require removal prior to demolition. The building's construction in itself poses its own challenges. There is quite a large reinforced basement at the rear of the buildings, which will require removal during the demolition and remediation phase without destabilising any of the surrounding ground. The enabling works package comprises asbestos removal and demolition of the buildings, site-wide remediation and earthworks, removal of the existing river bridge, installation of a new sheet-piled wall along the River Aire, installation of the piling mats up to formation, and construction and installation of the new haul roads and drainage. In addition, we'll be working alongside the client-appointed utility installers to carry out the utility trenching works. Rhodar will be undertaking these works as principal contractor. In this role, we'll be responsible for the site security, health and safety, and ensuring all the regulatory guidances and requirements are met during the works. This schedule of works differs slightly from your typical enabling works package in that it includes the final drainage construction of both foul and surface water drainage, as well as the haul road construction, and these haul roads form part of the final road makeup. In addition, we're installing the sheet-piled wall along the entire length of the boundary with the River Aire. The main enabling works package is due to commence on completion of the temporary pod accommodation works. This package of works has a 37-week programme, including 16 weeks worth of sheet piling to form the new river wall. On completion of the enabling works package, we'll be handing the client back a fully remediated site with the haul roads installed, piling mats up to level, and the drainage installed across the site. In addition, there'll be the new river wall constructed, the temporary accommodation pods will be occupied, and the site will be secured using new temporary hoarding, including biometric turnstiles and double leaf gates.
Yeah, hats off to the team at Rhodar for winning that and for putting together a fantastic video. I'm going to be watching the progress on that project with considerable interest. I'm just going to address very quickly a question from our friend Gary Muirhead. Gary says, will the cost of the Rhodar project be in this month's BC Live figures because we really need it? No, they probably won't. As Neil Edwards often says, projects that are let actually don't start to actually work. You know, we don't put a shovel in the ground for about another 20 to 25 weeks. So that would have been in the figures, my guess, would have been in the figures, a good 2 or 3 months ago, possibly even more than that. Another comment on that. The Rhodar let me try that again. That Rhodar Hyundai Construction Equipment Europe machine looks like the one I spent time on up at the face in Hillhead. I wonder if it is. Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible, I guess. There's a bit of a debate going on about what machines should be upgraded and improved. A couple of people have actually recommended the upgrading of the JCB range of wheeled excavators to a more X-series look and feel. As I say, I think Al Grierson said that. Somebody else said that as well. I think it may have been Gary Muirhead said that. Mick Norton, why would you replace the JCB range of wheeled excavators? Because the tracked versions have been updated and the wheeled ones, I guess, haven't. That would be my guess. Okay, let's get back to the point of all of this. A week or two ago, you might recall that we brought you the news that the Packard car plant over in Detroit was being demolished. Well, the eradication of another part of America's car manufacturing past is now facing the same fate, only this time it's in Florida.
A Jacksonville landmark will not be saved from demolition. The City Council voting tonight to tear down the Ford Motor Assembly plant, which sits in the shadow of the Matthews Bridge. On Your Side's Tristan Hardy reports on its fate and future.
The Ford Motor Assembly plant's glory days are long gone. The industrial leader that built Model T cars in Florida is just a shell by the Matthews Bridge, and the owner of the property is ready to let it go.
It's not just necessarily, about the nostalgia for these structures. They actually serve as an important resource for telling the stories.
To Alan Bliss, the story is Jacksonville's rise after the Great Fire of 1901. Bliss is the CEO of the Jacksonville Historical Society.
This city really has more history wrapped up in its existence than any other place in Florida.
The plant will eventually face demolition before it's bulldozed.
We allow some time for the building to be documented.
Local historians will keep a record of pictures of the plant before it's gone.
17 yeas, 0 nays.
And the City Council agreed. The plant will be around for 90 more days. Until then,
it's a painful loss, it's true. I will say, though, that the anticipated future use of this property is intended to be industrial.
The story of the Ford Motor plant may have one more chapter. Tristan Hardy, First Coast News, On Your Side.
Yeah, when you think just how big the US car manufacturing industry was and how far it's fallen, largely in the face of imported vehicles, I wonder if it will ever recover. Obviously, that ad that we've just had there from the Lighthouse Club is on the subject of mental health. Well, going back to the subject of mental health, which I know we touch on fairly regularly here on this show, on the 20th of October, I'm scheduled to interview one of the founders of an organisation called Construction Sport, which is using sport as a means of getting construction workers together to talk about mental health and so on down the line. I'm recording that on the 20th. My plan is to get it done and dusted and get it up and out before I head off for Bauma. I may schedule it for while I'm away, just let you know. And while we're talking about Belmar and things that are going on before that, very quick reminder that on Wednesday the 19th of this month, which is next Wednesday at 7 p.m, we are going to be doing our pre-Bauma show, bringing together everything that we're looking forward to seeing at Belmar in the following week. So keep an eye out for that. Now, pavers, they're just not sexy, are they? Oh, sure, they do an important job and they play a pivotal role in the road building and road maintenance process, but they're just a bit, yeah, or at least they were, before Dynapack made them look like an Audi. Gotta say, that's the most excited I've ever been about a paver.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
We are rapidly running out of days in which to preview all that will be on display at Bauma 2022. On Wednesday next week, as I've just mentioned, we will be broadcasting a special Breakfast Show After Dark episode that is dedicated entirely to the new products that we're expecting to see in Germany. That's on the 19th of October. And then just 4 days later, I'll be heading for Munich for the show itself. However, we do still have a bit of time for some additional previews before the Messe München throws open its doors once more. And this time, we're looking at what the mighty Bobcat might just have in store. Yeah, my list of must-visits at Belmar is extremely long and very demanding, but Bobcat is unquestionably among my personal top 10.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
As we have discussed countless times here on the show, the electrification of construction and demolition equipment is rife with anomalies. We have emission-free machines that are drawing power from coal-fired power stations. We have batteries and the machines they power utilising steel produced in mines and foundries that are far from environmentally sensitive. And we also have the odd notion of electric cars being powered by charging stations installed by diesel-powered equipment. Well, at least we did.
Electric cars play an important role in lowering carbon emissions. And the market is exploding. So the world needs charging stations. Lots of them. Ironically, today most of them are built with diesel machines. But there's a smarter way to do it. Right now, we are using our electric machines to build 138 charging points together with Vattenfall in charge. The machines are clean and quiet and perfectly suited for projects like this. In this project alone, we will cut carbon emissions by more than 3 tons. So, there is a huge potential to make a positive impact by switching to electric machines. The question is, how do we start? We believe that it's time to create new partnerships. By finding new ways to work together, we can transform our industry and reach our goal, a world with zero emissions. Change starts here.
Yeah, as I said earlier this week, I'm scheduled to be with the fine folks at Volvo just after Bauma, and I have a feeling that electric cars and electric equipment might play a pretty significant role in that event, but you'll just have to watch this space to find out more.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. Lots to talk about machines that could do with an upgrade. We'll get to all that in just a second. If you can't stick around, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. Have a great day, and thanks for watching. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I will see you on the other side of this.